A few years back, I struggled with a porn addiction, and no matter how much I tried, I couldn't stop. I'd fall into this cycle of watching it over and over again, and I really wanted to stop, and I'd pray about it, and I believed in God. I prayed and I asked Him for help, and it just wouldn't go away. And I remember living in shame and guilt about it. I remember every time I did it, there would be so much shame and guilt, and the worst part was actually the fear that came. Like, I'd be afraid that now God was going to punish me, that He was now very angry with me. I knew He hated it, and the biggest fear was that I had done something to mess up God's plan for my life, that I had done something that He hated, and He wanted to bless me, but now that I'd done it, He wouldn't bless me a certain way. And I lived in this fear until one day I realized that wasn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem was not me being punished. The biggest problem was that I was breaking God's heart by doing it. That He was weeping and He was heartbroken by watching His child live in slavery to something that I didn't even want to be a slave to, that I wanted to be set free from. He was watching His child live in chains that needed to be broken. And that revelation of His heartbrokenness, of His pain, did something to me. I surrendered it to His Lordship, yes, but I also began to take actionable steps. I realized I had to cut out some websites from my life, which were innocent websites, but they would lead me down a dark road, and I managed to do that. I went to two godly people, and told them that if I watch it again, I would go to them and confess. And I did it a couple of times, and they held me accountable for it. And the thing that I realized about this sin is that it hates being exposed in the light. It loves being in the dark, in the shame, in secret, where it can fill you up with shame. But being exposed in the light, bringing it out in confession to a trusted brother or sister, that really shook it. To bring it out and confide in someone, saying, hey, I'm struggling with this, that sin would just die. And that's exactly what happened. I began to be set free. Jesus began to set me free. And I began to be freed from this addiction. Now, I don't remember when was the last time I actually watched. It's been a couple of years, and I've been so grateful. Now, I'm not saying that I may never fall into it again, because I still struggle, but God willing, I won't. God willing, I'll never fall back into it, and I know that God is able to keep me from stumbling. But I just realized that God wants to see His children set free. That's why Jesus died on the cross for us, so that we would be set free from our own sin. Like, He wants us to be free from our addictions and bondages. He wants us to live in absolute freedom and love for Him and for each other. He's willing to do that, and there are steps that we can take. And one of them is to actually confide in a trusted brother or sister. He's given us each other to talk to and ask for help. And the more we drag it into the light, the more that sin dies, and the more free we become. And I know that seeing us live in chains breaks His heart, and that's the biggest impact that it actually has, to break the heart of God the Father. And He wants us to be free.